What is going on, Panthers Nation? Carolina Dad here, your host of the Two Growls, One Roar podcast. And I'm back with my somewhat non-rapid reactions to the Panthers' loss to the New Orleans Saints. Hey, guess what? I got it right this week. We actually did play the New Orleans Saints. I got to keep that joke running because last week I said we played the Saints and we actually played the Falcons. I was going off basically no sleep at that point, so you got to give me a little bit of a break. Hey, if you were watching this on YouTube, and if you didn't know, you can watch it on YouTube. I've upgraded my camera. It's baby steps. It's not much better quality, but it is a little better quality. I haven't explored the video quality or camera that I'd like to get eventually, but we're getting there. And if you see me kind of angled at a weird angle, the way the microphone is set up, I'm recording off of a different computer than I'm actually doing the audio for the podcast. Anyways, if you're watching this, you'll see that the microphone's positioned right in front of my face. I know you would love to see my voice pop out like that. But the way this microphone is set up, it's meant to record audio, primarily like as recording music, and you got to be directly into the microphone. So you can kind of see me. What I'll eventually do is buy a podcasting microphone that maybe I'll attach to the desk here. Give me a nice little background. I gotta say, this background, as bad as it is, it's better than what we had. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers that once again let us down. And I don't know if it was the Panthers that let us down, if it was the fan base. If you follow me on Twitter this morning, I posted the Monday Morning Quarterback Tuesday edition. And let me just read. I actually did not plan on doing this, but I think it makes sense if I can find it. And I'll read you the thoughts that I put together this morning, just sitting down, thinking about last night's game, thinking about the expectations that we had coming into the season. I think one thing we need to do is temper our expectations. And that starts with me. It starts with me as the podcast host, as a fan. And I'm not saying we should be optimistic, but at the same time, I think it's taking a realistic approach to see that this team, the team that you watch on Sundays, that you just watched on Monday, that you'll get to watch one Thursday, could be a 4 to 5 win team. A team that I projected to have 10 wins. I'm ratcheting that down. I am taking it down about 5 or 6 notches. Don't even mention playoffs. We have to win a game. Frank Wright has not won in the preseason with us. He has not won in 2 games. The play calling has looked pretty lackluster. I thought the preseason was vanilla. I think we're still in that vanilla phase. And everybody keeps overusing this, but it's true because I'm sorry, it was the soundbite that got picked up and everyone just ran with it. Last night, we heard Frank Wright. I can't remember which reporter it was, but I actually think it was Sheena Quick, because I'm sitting here looking at it. She asked Frank Wright about the possibility of handing over the play calling to Thomas Brown, especially on nights like last night when the offense was struggling. His response was, I gotta pull this up, I think it's best for the team that I'm calling plays. Whoa, bro. I might want to leave your ego at the door. Might want to leave that ego at the door, coach. Because I'm going to tell you right now, this fan base is very wishy-washy. We heard about Matt Rule and his process, the 7.5-year process, I guess 7-year process. It took Jay-Z 7 years. Man, this fan base roasted Matt Rule. This fan base is so petty that I have watched this fan base follow Nebraska football on Twitter every single game and pull against Nebraska. There's this feuding war going on with Nebraska fans and Panthers fans. That just shows you how petty this fan base can be. And when we want to talk about petty and what this will mean, just give it a few weeks. You keep losing football games. Mr. Tepper, I'm going to tell you, your stadium will be overrun by the opposing team. We saw it with the 49ers last year. That was part of the reason that Matt Rule gets sliced. That wasn't the main reason, but it was part of it. Matt Rule gets left out because we have the 49ers coming in and invading the stadium. Yeah, it's going to happen again with the Dallas Cowboys coming into town. I could see 70% of the Dallas Cowboys fans taking over, especially because the Cowboys look good, man. You hear every year is the Cowboys year. The Cowboys are looking like a daggone good football team. I'll tell you that right now. Talk about the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers fans travel well. They will come into town and take it over as well. I digress. Let's go in and read what I said. So Monday morning quarterback, Tuesday edition. I wrote this on Twitter. You know, as you sit here as a podcast creator, as a digital creator, whatever you want to call it, you realize from where I sit, I am really like one seat away from the team. You know, I used to have to go out to ESPN, to other media outlets to get my Panthers news and updates. And I have to, follow things on Instagram to see the latest updates. And now I listen to every single press conference. I watch every single article that comes through on the Panthers website. And I follow, all the beat reporters that are there with the team. So there really isn't any news that I don't know about. They may know about it like a second before me. Yes, they get to ask the coach the questions of the presser, but I'm right there, man. And so I've realized part of doing what I'm doing is the ability to take this and eventually, have my own website that I'll have so I can actually start writing about my thoughts. Because if you think about the media outlet, you've got your podcast, which is audio. I've got the YouTube channel that I'm starting to build out. Go follow it. I'll keep plugging that. Even today, like I said, I dropped a mini episode. And if you're curious, I know I'm going on just a random tangent here, but if you're curious about where I'm going with this, is I'm really trying to build this thing out into a state where Panthers fans are coming to me for my opinions and takes, and maybe I get calls on the shows, yada, 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 the fun stuff. But anyways, I realized that, having this form of writing is going to be beneficial. So let's talk about it. Here we go. Here's what I said. Monday morning quarterback, Tuesday edition. Who is to blame? The fans, the media, the staff, the players, maybe everyone. We came into this season with a lot of hype, and rightfully so. New coaching staff, flash free agents, number 1 overall pick. So what happened? 2 games into the season, part of the fan base is already calling for Frank's job. The other is calling Bryce a bust. We knew there would be growing pains, but we expected more. And I'm not saying we can't turn this around, but I do think Frank needs to temper those expectations. If you listened in at the end of the ESPN broadcast, the crew mentioned that Wright said this was the beginning of a process. Yet the message is not being conveyed to the fans or to anyone else. If this is a process, come out and say it. Own up to it and tell us this is a process. Because all this BS hype that I've been watching on the Panthers social media, putting together these videos, going through the off season, telling us that this is going to be the year. No, nip it in the bud. Come out and say this is going to be a process. We are not going to win X number of games. You don't have to tell us how many games we're going to win. We can see that for ourselves. Don't tell me it's week to week, because that's what you said last night. This is a week to week process. I'm not buying it. I'm not going to buy it, man. You want to cross-reference and look over, and I know it's 2 different things. Look at, you can hate this man. You can hate Deion Sanders. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But that man took a sorry football team and has turned them into a powerhouse. Yes, it's early. They're 3-0. But you know what a good coaching staff does? A good coaching staff wins those close games. He wins them. I don't care if it's by a field goal, if it's double overtime, if they're underdogs, overdogs. I don't care. They find ways to win. And this product that is being put on the field is not winning football. You, Frank Wright, you are supposed to be this offensive guru that was brought in. Because I'm going to tell you what, the Panthers fan base, we remember Steve Wilks. We know what Steve Wilks did. Steve Wilks had a much worse situation, in case you didn't know. And we know. We know what he went through with Rule. We know what he went through with trading McCaffrey, with Robbie Chosen Anderson. With Matt Rule taking pieces of his staff to Nebraska, Wilks turned this into a football team. Ended up going 6-6, winning a total of 7 games for the season, on the cusp of making the playoffs with nothing. He built an identity for this team. He brought back the Panthers culture, the keep pounding culture that we were built off of. He brought that back. And here we are trying to figure out our identity, worrying about running up the middle. Because I'm going to tell you, that wide receiver room, and you keep saying it in the pressers, I even heard it today, you're telling us that we don't need to worry about the wide receivers, that they're okay. They're not getting separation. That's an issue. Bryce Young looks unsettled. And Bryce Young is not a bust. Bryce Young is going to be fine, folks. Don't get it twisted. He's going to be okay. But what's not going to be okay is this offensive scheme that we're running. We saw some good production on the last 2-minute drive. But this continuing to put Laviska in the backfield, run up the middle, not taking shots. We saw the few opportunities where we get a pass interference call. I mean, I don't know what needs to change. And there's this collaborative approach that we continue to hear. I'm calling BS. I don't want to hear that there's collaboration. I want to hear that someone is taking ownership. Because you can collaborate all you want. You can sit 50 people in a room to make a decision and it'll take you 10 hours. Or you have someone who has the balls to sit up there and tell you, this is my decision, this is how it's going, and you move on. If you want to own play calling, own the play calling. Okay? Own it. Own it, and when it doesn't go well, guess what? It's on you, bub. On you. Man, this is not where I plan to take this, but it just so happens. So if this is a process, like I said, just say it. Don't get our hopes up that we're going to make the playoffs. I'm going to just don't. Like, acknowledge what it is, and I'm going to tell you what the other issue is, okay? Scott Fitter. He is on the hot seat. If the hot seat was ever so hot, that thing is burning up with Hades right there, right below him. It is on fire. Because that man is part of the reason that Bryce Young does not have assets around him. We trade away Christian McCaffrey. We get Jonathan Mingo. We get DJ Johnson. DJ Johnson, who does not even play a snap last night. That's who we're trading for. One of the best backs in franchise history in the league for those two guys. And then a pick next year that's not going to equate to anything. I'm going to tell you that 5th round pick is not going to be anything close to McCaffrey. So you give that away. You know why you had to give that away? Because of the last 2 years where you screwed up. Where you screwed up trading for Sam Darnold, give up more draft capital. You screw up trading for Baker Mayfield, more draft capital. You look at what you did this year to get to DJ Johnson, trading up more draft capital. You lost your dang mind, man. You lost your mind. Fans notice. We notice your track record with these picks, garbage. You can say that it's Matt Rule and Matt Rule was in control. Nah, man, you're on the hot seat. You better figure out how to make a trade to get Bryce Young a wide receiver that can get separation, because it's coming, dude. It's coming. Frank Wright's got a little bit of time. Your time is short, man. I don't know why Tepper made the decision not to clean house all the way. Like, what did he see? I guess, is Scott Fitter a yes man that buys into what David Tepper wants? Maybe that's why. I don't know. Speaking of, I'm talking about receivers, this is a good segue. Everyone outside of the Carolinas can see our deficiencies in the wide receiver room. I know a coach will never say we don't have the talent to win. Like, you're not going to come out and say you don't have the talent to win. I watch middle school football and I can see clear, better players on the other team in some situations, but you're never going to come out and tell your kids that this team is so much better? No. But a good coach does know the strengths and the weaknesses, and he builds a game plan around those strengths. Continuing to run the ball is up the middle is not a strength. Not being able to take shots down the field, not a strength of our team. That's a weakness. Man, until Reich shows that he can win, this fan base will continue to be shaky. Steve Wilkes insisted that instilled the Panthers culture back into the Carolinas without any resources. What we are witnessing right now is anything but Panthers culture. And I saw fans that tweeted that it was so loud, it was so this. It looks kind of like a little, I don't know. I don't want to hear about loud and rowdy coming out of a Charlotte game, because you can't. Might as well be closer to the wine and cheese. And y'all know who like Wolf Warren's in college football sometimes, so it says a lot. You want to talk about a crowd that can bring it until you show me that, some SEC football. I'll even throw in Clemson, because I know I got some Clemson fans on here. Clemson, South Carolina, NC State, App State, ECU, football schools that have fans that know how to get rowdy for a football game. Charlotte, Carolina Panthers, not the case. So if you think it's bad now, and I kind of said this, just wait. Just wait till the Cowboys and Packers come into town. They'll make it a home game. It's going to keep happening. Vikings, whoever is traveling in, because fans are going to get tired of it. You can't have all this hype and anticipation and everything surrounding this team and continue to underperform. We are on the cusp of, you couldn't have asked for a worse start. We're 0-2 in the division. Not only are we 0-2, but it's 0-2 with 2 division games. The rest of our division is 2-0. I told you the Buccaneers were going to be bad. They're winning games. Falcons are winning games. Saints are winning. I don't care how they're winning. You can say that, yeah, we should have beat the Saints. Yeah, we should have beat the Falcons. We looked better. Well, guess what? We didn't win the game. You didn't win it. And this is the other thing that ticks me off on social media with some of y'all, and not the people that are likely listening to this podcast, because y'all are awesome. There are some folks on social media. So before this game, number one, in my prediction on the show, if you listened, I predicted the Saints were going to win 27-24, last minute field goal. It ended up being 2017. Pretty close, but guess what? They covered, they hit the 3 points, they won, blah, blah, blah. I posted it again on my on Twitter leading up to the game. I said, hey, what's your predictions? I have the Panthers losing. People wanted to say, oh, you're not a true fan. Oh, really, bro? No, I'm able to look in the mirror and I can see dog crap and know that that's dog crap. And I'm not going to, if you're going to listen to me, let you go into work or talk to your family and tell them that the Panthers are going to be good when they're not. We haven't even gotten into the upcoming game against the Seattle Seahawks this week, but we'll talk about it. Talk about that. I'll give you another show on that. But I am a ride or die Panthers fan, and I'm going to continue to watch and support the team. All I'm asking for is a little bit of hope. Just some competency. That's it. YourPanthers.com said that we have 200 plus years of experience of coaching on this staff, and you can't figure out how to create an offense that caters to Bryce Young? Someone on Twitter had a really good point that what has Frank Reich done? Like, who has he developed? Yes, he had Carson Wentz, Nick Foles there with the Eagles, but you look at his track record with what he did with the Colts. Andrew Luck to Jacoby, yeah, and then you look up at the washed up Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers. I get it. It's a weird scenario that he was placed in, but we'll see. We are a young franchise that has had success early on in our history. We expect to win. We've had 2 Super Bowl appearances in our very young history, and we know how to put together teams that are competitive. I'm going to continue to keep pounding But maybe we should start changing our motto to start scoring, because you know what we need to do is score some dang points, and the offense that we are drawing up is not it. How about we start to figure out how to do a little bit of play action? I mean, I'm not a quarterback or offensive coordinator guru. I can tell you a little bit of play action, bootleg, just to get the defenders to slip. You look at what Bryce has been able to do to make guys miss when he is getting pressure. And, you think about the pressure that he's getting. He's evading that. He's taking the hits. But how about you get him into space on a design play, flood the routes, stack them, give him an opportunity. That's all I ask. This defense, we have a top 10 defense. Not just me saying we have a top 10 defense. We have a top 10 defense. We've been in every game because of our defense. Turnovers killed us last night. Bryce Young fumbled. He's got to be able to take care of the ball. Again, this is not the Bryce Young hate parade. It's not. I don't know. That's all. I mean, I decided to do this episode a little bit differently because it's just like, this stuff's got to get out, man. It's got to get out. I got to get off my chest. Let's take a look. I mean, box score, you can look up the box score. Our defense did what it was supposed to do. Passing-wise, they threw for 200 yards, held them to 130 rushing yards. Our rushing defense has not been great. Taysom Hill being able to line up and run all over us was terrible. The Saints were down to like their third or fourth string running back. We couldn't do anything, about that. We saw them connect on a few deep balls. And yeah, they made some good plays with Olave and Michael Thomas, but this is the NFL. It's a game of inches, and you got to be able to stop those plays, and we didn't. I can't tell you what the future is, but Miles, and I know I'm kind of just bouncing around, but Miles Sanders does not look the part. If Adam Thielen is truly our number one wide receiver, we're in trouble. And again, I take the blame, part of this blame for y'all, because I went to training camp. I have followed them since the spring, since I've recorded, and the hype was there, but I should have listened to a few other people that were like, you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because I don't know that I am, considering what we have seen. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be a long season. So I hope you buckle up and you're ready to go. We did get an update. Shaq Thompson is hurt. He is out for the rest of the year. He broke his fibula. That play, man, that play sucks because it's a bonehead move by Williams on our team. It's not his fault, but the dude, you're going after the whistle, then you make the defender fall, or I guess it was the offensive player fall on Shaq, roll him up, break it, breaks his fibula. Like, dude, just be smart, man. I don't know. That's the one thing. The discipline of this team with the penalties, 6 penalties last night for 35 yards. People also bashing the situational football that we played with bringing in Andy Dalton to run our quarterback sneaks. Some people questioning, like, okay, did you really draft the right guy if you have to bring in another quarterback to do that? Kind of a valid point. But I will say, if you look at the model in the NFL, like Frank Wright even said that he's had Jacoby Brissett doing that. In Indy, Taysom Hill was the leading rusher for the Saints with 9 carries for 75 yards. I know Taysom's a different breed, different model at the same time. We knew when Taysom was coming in, he was running and we couldn't stop it. So I don't know what the difference is with bringing in Andy. You do wonder, though. My father-in-law said it. Like, why not start Andy Dalton? Give Andy Dalton the starts. Let Bryce Young develop underneath him. We've seen that be successful. You look at Jordan Love. You look at just the Green Bay Packers organization in general with Aaron Rodgers as well. Being able to do that. Yeah, I don't know, folks. I do not know. Well, this was quite a different episode. If you've been tuning into me for a while, you're probably like, whoa, bro, where did this dude come from? And came from out of the blue, but it's long overdue because you as a fan base, I think you need to know the real, how I feel, how things are going. Yeah, I don't know. So I do think at some point, oh man, I think Frank Reich's going to have to figure this out. He's got time. He does have time. But when I think about where the team is headed, I would anticipate if Fitterer wants to keep his job, he's going to have to figure out a way to get a wide receiver here and not someone off the street. He's got to get whether it's a T. Higgins, I don't know who else is available. I don't think Hunter Renfrow he's not my ideal candidate. He's got to get someone in here before the trade deadline, in my opinion, in order to give himself a shot at retaining his job. Because we continue to pass on draft capital, he continues to miss on his evaluations and picks, and at some point, we gotta look in the mirror at him and say, okay, dude, time's up. This is not going to happen. Well, I don't think I really have anything else. I guess let's end on a positive note, because if you've been following along with me in the journey of Nolan's middle school football team, so they're 1-1. They won the first game, double overtime, 12-6. Lost last week, kind of disappointing. Tonight they won 6-0, which is cool. Had a shutout performance on defense. Nolan's all defenses, so he plays defense outside the linebacker. So very good opportunity for him, and they're 2-1 on the season. Big matchup next week, so I'll keep you posted on that. I'm trying to see if there was one other takeaway. Say not takeaway, but comment. Well, here we go. I did have a hot take. I was trying to go through. JT Langford said that Chuba Hubbard is our best running back. Someone else said we need to trade for T. Higgins. And then just a lot of the fan base cannot get over Frank Reich and his responses. I don't know. I'm rambling now. You can go out, you can look at the box score. You can do that without me walking you through it. I hope you like this version of the show. It's a little bit different than what I normally do. I will be dropping your preview for the Seahawks coming up later this week. One positive is that the Seahawks defense has been terrible. They're passing a defense that is. Maybe this is the opportunity for Bryce to open things up. Who knows? Well, y'all, that is all I got. Carolina Dad signing off. Have a good one.